Yes. On this subject, we are still now considering the causes, because we want to look at the cause, effect, and then solution. So for the next 4 episodes, we are going to consider the question of why. How did we arrive here that it happens so that all over the world, all over across the country, we hardly value time? Now, this is the case. The first aspect I want to talk about today is there is an evolutionary, geographical, and ecological aspect to it. What I mean by evolutionary, geographical, and then economical aspect is that we know very well that from basic Greek, we have before we came to these sophisticated levels of civilizations, we were having things like hunting and gathering and then all that. Now, because of that, it produced a system where we don't naturally value time. I want you to get it very well. What I'm talking about is from our forebears, our way ancestors. Their timing, the evolutionary process that they might have gone through, and then all made it such that at the end of the day, they were not committed to respecting time. Why will I respect time if at the end of the day, all what I have to do is to go for hunting, get some meat, bring it home, and then we eat? What is the place and then the role of respect for time in this thing? And even much more geographically, especially for us as Africans, that we are found in the tropics, that we are densely buffeted with what we call the rainforest. Here we have 2 major staffs, that is the dry season and then the wet season or the rainy season. And then we had, that is our forefathers, agriculturally, they had so many plants and crops that were coming in seasons. So when mango season was up, the next time they realized in the absence of mango, they had pineapple. In the absence of pineapple, another fruit was up. Now, when you are used to this, it does not help you to plan. This was quite different from our brethren in the temperate zone. I'm talking of the Western world. For them, they have the winter and then the spring, the autumn, and then all that. And then the differences are sharp. For instance, during the winter, we know that you cannot go out and then engage in much, stuffs because of the snow. So what happens is during the summer, you are compelled to plan ahead of the summer so that you'll be planning and then you'll be making enough purchases. So you'll be making certain investments so that during the time when you cannot really go out, like in winter, you wouldn't be found wanting. So are you getting it? Geographically or ecologically, by way of even climate differences, it started programming the minds of the white man to be committed to consciousness for time and respect for time. Because woe betides you if you don't plan ahead. If you don't plan during the summertime, when the winter comes, you are going to go hungry. So whether you like to plan or not, whether planning is part of your genetic system or not, it will naturally compel you to be a planner. And by so doing, gradually, you'll be drifting towards respect and regard for time. Come down here and you realize that our forefathers did not experience that kind of issues. What they experienced per the context that they were in was that you don't have to struggle in order to get food. Because in the tropics here and with the rainforest, there were several crops that when one crop is out of season, another crop was in. When another crop was out of season, another crop was in. So this naturally reduced the programming of our forefathers in order to plan their lives. because they had an all-round season. There were crops, there were fruits, there were materials every time available. So these are deeper levels of conversations when it comes to the subject of time. We are not saying that this is this is enough excuse for us not to respect time. But what I'm doing over this, next set of 4 videos, is to give you the historical, the philosophical, and the environmental causes that has predisposed the black man not to respect time. And beyond that, we will then see the consequential effect of our lack of respect for time and in life. And then most especially, we will then focus our laser on what then should we do? What should be the way forward as far as these things are concerned? So with this point, I am trusting that you are getting the argument. One of the reasons why the black man, the Ghanaian, the African is naturally predisposed not to respect time is the cumulative environmental, ecological, evolutionary contribution that was upon our forefathers and how they potentially responded to it. We cannot blame them because after all, if you're having food every now and then it did not compel you, unlike the white man, that because winter was coming, summer will have to be a time of planning. For us, our dry season, we had certain plants that could withstand the drought. So at every time all through the year, we were having food, we were having some animals, and after doing so much of this over a while, it sank into our subconscious mind. And then it became interwoven into our culture. So much so that there wasn't any need for us at any time to give ourselves to the respect of time. Is there anything that we can do about this particular thing? It is purely ecological and then environmental, though, there may be adjustments here and there. There is no need crying over spilled milk. There is no need blaming our forefathers that they should have held by planning and all. That was perhaps the best they could by way of their response to their time. They have done their best. What about you and I? We can change the narrative by these levels of understanding. We cannot go back and have a brand new starting, but we can start today and have a brand new ending. The beauty of it should be that we will be able to raise a new crop of people, and this has been my yearning. Though many people seem not to believe even is the slightest or the foggiest, element of possibility. But mind you, that as I've always been saying, time consciousness is not a Western principle. It is a universal principle. And anyone, regardless of race, regardless of continent, that buys into it and then uses it to his advantage will be on his way to national development, will be on his way to levels of global relevance. This has been the first reason. That is the ecological, evolutionary, the environmental, the climatic contributions that it has given to it. That was the response our forefathers gave. As against the forefathers of the white man, that because of the nature of their temperate zone, particularly that of the winter, it compelled them to plan ahead. And it naturally developed planning and respect for time into their culture. For us, in the tropics, everything was at our beck and call. So our forefathers did not see the need to essentially plan. We forgive them, but we must be harder on ourselves so that our children and posterity can be proud of us. Stay blessed.